Hey guys, Sky here from HWF. So let's say you are in the market to purchase a vehicle, buy a car here in Malaysia, and you're probably looking at some of the used stuff, and you're probably looking at some of the new stuff, and you're probably just generally feeling a little overwhelmed. Don't know what used car dealers are reputable. Don't know what to look for, how to avoid buying a car that was involved previously in an accident, how to verify and vet a particular car, whether is it reliable, whether it is it in good condition. Well, I thought I'd give you a little bit of a head start by introducing you to the platform called Mudah. Now, of course, this being a .my platform, it's exclusively for Malaysia. And so if you are, somebody who's located in Malaysia and you are looking at purchasing your next car, be it used or new, this is probably this video is probably going to give you a little bit of insight into how you can go about doing that and achieving your goal. Hopefully, avoiding buying anything that has met with an accident or maybe involved in a flood. So right off the bat, the first thing you have to do is of course select the cars as the category, and then you can click search. And then sort of from here you have a bit more criterias for you to narrow down the car that you want to search. So well, yeah, I am very much in love with the Subaru XV, so we are going to use that as an example. And for a Subaru XV that I am looking at, I'm not looking at something that is too old, so I will definitely filter in terms of the manufacture year from. So we are looking at something that's manufactured from the year 2022, and then as you can see, there are a few other fields here that I am not actually going to do any selection, because that once you have done the selection, it will further limit the number of cars that you will see. Now the whole purpose of this video is to generally give you some tips and tricks of how you can utilize Mudah to make your journey to own a used car a little bit less miserable. You still have to do a lot of legwork when you are visiting the used car dealer. You still have to do a lot of checking out the cars, looking at the condition, looking at the mileage, etc. Hopefully you don't get scammed. But from Mudah, we can actually filter out a lot of the bad apples. So yeah, that's the whole point of this video, right? So I'm gonna hit search now to narrow down the results. As you can see, we have the selection field here selected as entire Malaysia. You can go ahead and filter it down, but yeah, that's generally. So what it means is, in the entire Mudah platform, the Subaru XV that's manufactured in the year 2022 to present, there's about 59 listings. So if I go ahead and narrow down the selection to be listings just in Selangor, and then we hit search again, you will see that there is only 31 cars that fulfill this criteria. So Subaru XV manufactured in the year 2022 and available in Selangor. Available meaning locally available in Selangor. So there's a few things that we can tell from just looking at the listing. Obviously, by default, Mudah already sorted everything based on the most recently uploaded listing. That's the date field here. So this is the most recently uploaded today, in fact, at 11:34 a.m. And then if we scroll all the way down to the last entry, this is the oldest listing in Selangor for this car that fulfilled or that matches my search criteria. So July 25th, this is, if we click into it, you will be able to see, okay, this is a direct owner. So that means, yeah, chances are we don't know whether this car is still available or not because it's direct owner. So he or she is probably not going to update the listing once the car is sold, or maybe he took it off the market, he changed his mind, so he's probably not going to update the listing in that case. So let's go on back. Another thing that you might notice is the fact that there is a tick icon next to the year of manufacture. Now this is a very important point. In my previous experience of, because I have been on the market searching for a used car for quite some time now. So in my experience, used car dealers tend to be a bit dishonest when it comes to certain aspects of the car. The manufacturing year is one of them. So if the listing has got this blue tick next to the manufacturing year, what this means is the listing owner has already submitted information to double confirm with Mudah that this is the actual manufacturing year for the car. So for a listing that does not have this blue tick, chances are it's probably not what the used car dealer said it is lah. Probably because in my experience, I've seen one where, you know, on the listing it says 2019. You call the salesperson, you arrange a meetup. Then when I was there physically to test drive the car, the first thing that the salesperson said to me was, "Oh, by the way, this is not a 2019 model year car. This is a 2018 one." And standing from the perspective of a buyer or a potential buyer, the moment you hear that, well, I haven't even looked at the car yet, and well, yeah, you already told me, oh, it's a 2018 model instead of the advertised 2019 model. How will I feel? Of course, I feel cheated. I feel like I don't want to continue with that test drive anymore because, yeah, I am not looking to purchase something that's a bit too old. So I went on and continued with the test drive, but like I've mentioned, my heart is no longer in it. I'm just, let's get this done and over with so I can move on and look at some other listings. So definitely that is a very important thing to look at when you are looking at the listing, when you are selecting for a car to test drive, especially if you are serious. If you are, just there for the test drive, then yeah, this is not a detail that you should care about so much. So, for instance, this is 2022, it's verified, this is verified. As you can see, there are quite a number of listings here where it is not verified. So there is a potential issue where it is not what it claims to be, where the manufacturing year is not what it claims to be. Now, there are many different reasons why you would be a bit more concerned about the manufacturing year. Different cars have different specs that changes according to the year. That may be one of the reason. Another reason is that, like me, you don't want to buy something that is too old. You want to buy something that you know for sure there's still service record with the service center because it is still under warranty and it will still be under warranty for potentially 1 or 2 years. For instance, if we look at the manufacturing year of 2022, because now it is towards the end of 2025, what this means is typically there should be about 1 year to 2 years of warranty for these cars, depending on when the vehicle is registered, because warranty starts from the registration date, right? So 2022, if it's a 5-year warranty car, which is, the typical situation there is out there, but it can be different because, we have a lot of the Chinese cars entering our market and they're offering 7 years, 9 years, 10 years. Yeah, so maybe you have to do some more research to identify the sort of warranty package with your particular car. But for the Subaru XV, for my case, yes, 5 years is the standard warranty. That means this particular model will have warranty all the way up to 2027. Again, depending on the date that the vehicle is registered, but rest assured you have about 1 year to 2 years of warranty that you can enjoy. And seeing as this is a Subaru, it also has what we call the free service package. As long as the warranty is not voided by the previous owner, you should be able to enjoy the free service package as well. So that's probably some extra money that you can spend. And at any rate, the warranty, the original manufacturer's warranty, is an additional reinforcement on top of the money that you are expecting to spend on a car, right? Um, you are buying used car to save money anyways. Might as well buy something that has manufacturer warranty so that you can, save further. Save you the headache. Let's say something is broken, or something is not in order with the engine or with the drivetrain or with the transmission. So you don't have to worry about all those. You can just revert back to the factory warranty and get the claim process to hopefully not make your life so miserable. So that is to do with the manufacturing year. Now, one of the reasons why I like to browse at Mudah is because, we are able to put in our filtering criteria, and then we get to look at all the listings on offer, right? So this is all the listings on offer. As I've mentioned, some of it are actually from direct owner, and then some of them are, well, a majority of them are actually from dealers. Like this one, Car City, is actually a very popular dealer here in the Kajang Bangi area where I'm located in. I've personally gone to a few of their locations. They are quite big in Kajang and Bangi. They have a few locations, a few lots, and they have a lot of cars under their belt. So you get a sense of course, the list of available cars within you, so you can narrow down the locality based on your own locality. But also you get to see a sense of like the price point, the variance of price point, of the car that you are intending to buy. For instance, here we have one that is 81,888. So that's probably the cheapest. Do we have anything lower? Oh yeah, here we have one that is 79,800. Forget about the spec and condition and the year of manufacture. Just, looking at this will tell you, okay, what is the expected range that I have to fork out if I want to buy this particular model, from 2022 onwards. So the cheapest probably is 79,800. Do we have anything? Yeah, here there is another one that is 79,800. Oh, 75. Yeah, the cheapest one is probably 75. If we looked into it, yeah, you will see, okay, this is another direct owner, right? So chances are direct owner, they will be able to sell it a bit cheaper because they just don't want to, probably the used car short change them a lot, so they want to try and put the listing on the market and try to sell it on their own, right? So we have one for 75,000. That's probably the cheapest one. And then if we look at the upper end of the spectrum, 97 seems like the upper end of the spectrum here. There isn't one on offer that exceeds 100k, right? So yeah, 97 is probably the upper end of the spectrum. So here we have the wide range that you can expect when it comes to buying this particular model. So there's the lower end, 75 grand. This is a direct owner, and then the upper end is 97. This is, if I'm not mistaken, judging by the picture, this is a Sime Darby one. Well, yeah, because you've seen the listing a lot, then you would realize this is probably the same parking lot as the Sime Darby one. Sime Darby's cars are a bit more expensive, but you can probably trust that they have a more stringent inspection, so they will not simply pick up any car from the owners. Well, at least that's the hope anyway. So that is the range, right? That is the expected range, 75 to 97. And then now if we zoom in a bit further, why the 75 grand one is so cheap? Well, the first thing that you can see is definitely this one doesn't have the GT Edition body kit. It's got the ugly rims, and then there's no, front lip at the front. There's no side lip. There is also no back lip, right? So there's no backlit, meaning the rear diffuser is body colored and it's a bit ugly. Yeah, so now you understand why the direct owner is selling it for cheap or so much cheaper compared to the others. Because if we go back to the list, you can see that a majority of the listing here starts from about 80 to 85,000, right? Some of the exception being this one. This is also non-GT edition, so this one doesn't have the body kit and it has the ugly rim as well. So yeah, okay, so it makes sense, right? 80,600 bucks. So again, here you will be able to sort of like work out the options that are available on the market, right? Is it worth it for you to top up that 5 to 10,000 to get the GT edition model? Like what else does the GT edition model offer other than the body kit, right? So these are the things that you have to then ask yourself. Is it worthwhile for me to get the non-GT edition model but I can save that 10 grand, or is it worthwhile if I get something that is in the middle? For example, this one 86,000, so 86,000 to 75,000 is probably about 10 grand. So is it worthwhile for me to fork out that extra 10 grand to get a GT edition model? Well, what does the GT edition model has? Then you dig a little bit deeper and you will find that, look, GT edition has the 360 camera on top of course, the good looking body kit. If we just go back to the main picture, on top of the good looking body kit, so look at the rear diffuser, it looks a bit different. The good looking rim, it looks a bit different as well. It looks a lot better than the non-GT edition's rim. So yeah, this is something that you have to think for yourself. Is it worthwhile for me to fork up that 10,000 to get a GT edition kit other than the body kit, the 360 camera as well? And whilst you are working on this particular factor, you will come across certain listings. Like, for example, this one. This one is 81,800, but it has the GT edition. And if you look at the GT edition kit, yeah, it's correct, right? The GT edition kit, the rim is correct. And if we look at here, it also has the 360 camera. Ooh, and I just realized something that I forgot to mention with regards to the GT edition kit is, of course, it also has the leather seat, right? So yeah, this one seems like the official GT edition from manufacturer, right? So why is it so cheap? 81,800. Now here is where you will realize when you are buying a used car, it's better for you not to buy the cheapest one out there. Like, for instance, there's a difference between the 81,800 one versus the 75,000 one. The first one being, of course, this is a direct owner. So as expected, as I've mentioned, a direct owner putting it on Mudah, they are trying their luck because probably the used car dealer shortchanged them a lot and they want to, sell it for a decent amount, and it's not urgent that they must sell the car immediately, so they'll just put the listing on here and then try their luck. But for this particular one, this one is coming from a used car dealer. Now, would a used car dealer shortchange themselves? That is one of the big question, right? Will a used car dealer shortchange themselves? The answer is no, right? If you receive the car at a high price as a used car dealer, you will sell the car at a higher price. Let's say if I take the car from the buyer, I take the car from the owner at 70,000. If I want to earn 5k, I will have to sell it at 75k. If I, for example, like these GT edition cars, if I take the car at 80k, it's not possible for me to sell it at 81k 800. I will probably lose margin because there's effort to change name. We have to send the car to pushback.com. A lot of efforts involved. So definitely their margin is looking at a bit higher. So when they are selling a car for cheaper, what does it mean? It means they actually take the car for cheaper. They bought the car for cheaper from the owner. And why do they buy the car cheaper from the owner? Well, for sure there are something wrong with the car. Think about it. If you are to sell a car if you are to sell your car to a used car dealer, will you sell it for cheap so easily? Of course, you will find a few used car dealers to give you a valuation, and then you will pick the highest one, right? It is not so easily for you to give up a car, a good car. It is not so easily for you to give up a good car cheaply to the used car dealer, right? So when a car is sold for cheap from the owner to the used car dealer, and the used car dealer eventually lists the car for cheaply, something is definitely wrong with the car. And I have looked into this, and I can show you here. Okay, at this point, whatever that I'm about to share with you is purely speculation. There's no truth in this. We don't know whether this is what happened or this is not what happened. Okay, but when you are buying a used car, speculation is all you have. Like, the gut feeling is all you have. So if your gut feeling is telling you something is wrong, walk away from the deal, regardless of how cheap the car is. Let's take a look at this picture. If you look at the car lines from the bonnet to the front bumper here, it still seems a bit, reasonable. It's not that accurate, but it's reasonable. And then you look further at the other end, at the right, at the leftmost end, you will see that here is also flush. So here is also flush. But for some reason, when we come to the right end, it is not flush. It is not that it is just a little bit not flush. That is here. Here it's just a little bit not flush, So it is still within the acceptable range. But here, I think the tolerance here is a little too large. And if you move further, if you look at the rightmost corner, you will see that here it is somewhat flush. So what does this tell you? This tells you that potentially the front end of the car was involved in an accident, and then somebody did a pretty good job of fixing it up. And again, if you look at the big picture, it sort of ties up with why the used car dealer wants to offload it for cheap. Now, I am by no means telling you that this used car dealer is dishonest and you shouldn't buy it, yada yada yada. Probably, once you reach out to them, they will be honest about it, and they will say, there's some minor mishap on the front, so the body panels don't align. They may tell you that, they may not tell you that. But as a potential buyer, and as somebody who wants to purchase a car that has not much of a problem, or higher risk of not giving you much of problem at all, this is the car that I will personally avoid. For sure. Yeah, it can be a case of this is just a simple manufacturer's mismatch. This is a case of a poorly put together Subaru, if you can believe that. But whatever it is, I will choose to avoid this particular listing. So again, take this with a grain of salt. We really do not know what happened with the car, whether did it met with an accident or did it really not meet with an accident. That we really do not know. But if you are a prudent buyer and you're looking for a carefree car to live with, a car that you don't want headaches with, I would personally shy away from this if I were you. Now then, what does this mean for the dealer who is looking to sell the car? Or perhaps you're an owner where your car has met with an accident, and you are thinking of letting it go. What then do you do? Do you just give it up, take the L, and scrap the car? Well, certainly not. There exists a special class of bargain hunters. A special class of bargain hunters who will look at this price and go, I'll probably be able to live with that. For instance, people who may have more than one car and they're just looking for a commute to bring them to the local markets to make their purchase, or to send their kids to school every day, and they don't mind driving around in a car that has met with an accident. Because let's face it, if let's say this car has met with a small accident such that the frames are still intact, it doesn't affect any of the main chassis frames, then it's perfectly fine for the car to be continued. It's perfectly fine for any new users to continue using the car. The worst case that any car that has met with an accident is probably just some weird knocking noises as the car drives through any uneven surfaces or road undulations. So if you are looking for the ultimate bargain, you can then go on to test drive this car and experience the car, see if indeed there's something wrong with the front end, or perhaps there is nothing wrong with the front end at all. And at the end of the day, it's just whether are you able to accept the condition of the car for the price that you are paying for. It is very important. It's not just whether you can accept the condition of the car, but also you must justify it against the price that you are paying for. Now, we are not looking at cars that are too old. We are looking only at cars that are 2022. This is like what, 3 years old cars? So this next point might not be that useful, but if you are buying a car that is a bit older, something say from the 2019 2020 year age, and something that has already uh, outside of the manufacturer's warranty, then it becomes important for you to find one with full service record. So typically the used car dealers, what they will do is they will abbreviate the full service record similar to this particular record. So they will abbreviate it to FSR. FSR here simply means full service record. It is not enough that they write the full service record, because it can be a fake service record, etc. And so what is more important is look at evidence, picture evidence of the car. So for instance, something like this, where you see this is the Subaru's manual book, or the service coupon, and you can see from here the mileage that is written at the time when the car was previously serviced. So we can tell that the previous service was done on the month of April the 4th. And you can also look at the dealer's code here, so you can roughly work it out where the previous owner actually put the car to service. So here is what Subaru Putra Lava or something .service. So you can look them up, and then you will be able to also visit them and look at the service record from the main service center's perspective. Now, what this does is it simply gives you a reassurance that indeed this car is as low mileage as as the dealer claimed to be. Well, here the dealer is claiming that it's only 59,000, and if we look at the service record, yeah, from the month of April, the car has only done 56,000, and this is a record that is it's got a lot of credibility, because this is the record directly penned down by the Subaru's service center. They are authorized dealers. They are authorized service centers. So again, it's a bit redundant here, considering the fact that the cars that we are looking at here is still under the manufacturer's warranty. It doesn't make a lot of sense for the first-hand owners to actually service the car elsewhere, especially since Subaru is doing the 5 years free service. Yeah, so definitely the owners will not be looking to service outside of the service center. But if you are not looking at something from Subaru, or if you are looking at something that's a little bit older, the main keyword here is to look at these abbreviations, the FSR abbreviation, or the full term that they use is the full service record. And then it helps if there are evidence or photo evidence of the service book, or the service coupon, as you can see on this picture. Because as a paranoid person myself, if let's say all that they present to us are simple pictures. Let me just look up that picture. I don't believe it's here. Yes. Because if all that the all the because if all the photo evidence that they give are just this service sticker, then there's always that risk that the used car dealer has access to the blank service sticker, and they can always fill up this service sticker according to the mileage that is convenient to their advertisement, right? There's always that risk that the used car dealer will fabricate these sort of stickers, and they stick on the dashboard or they stick on the speedometer just to show you that the mileage here is legitimate, etc., etc., when in fact it is just fabricated. It is very easy to fabricate this sticker if you have access to a blank one. For some reason, I'm not sure, I'm just paranoid like that. But yeah, in which case, the best evidence here is always to look at the service booklet, with the service center's stamp. Yeah, that is the absolute safest. Conveniently, also, since we are on this particular listing, we can touch about modifications done by the previous owner. So there's two schools of thoughts, two very different school of thoughts here when it comes to modification. Some will suggest that modification is actually indicative of how the previous owner may or may not have used the car. So the school of thought goes, somebody who modifies their cars, they probably will drive the car hard as well. And so in the long run, it will make the car, well, less reliable or more prone to problems because, yeah, they drive the cars hard. They have no consideration over road bumps. They don't brake before road bumps. They just ride potholes like there's no tomorrow. That sort of a thinking. That is valid because, again, when we are choosing to purchase a used car, we don't have much detail at all about the previous owner. So we don't know how they take care of the car, how they have driven the car, how they have used the car. We don't know. So whatever gut feeling you have, whatever speculation you have, those are the things that you cling on, right? So, yeah, on one end, the school of thought is that people will avoid cars that are modified, even the rim modification here. But before you jump on that line of thought, I implore you to look further into the details. For instance, here, if you look at this is a very good shot that the used car dealer have graciously provided us, right? So one particular detail that you have to look at here is the size of the tire, right? This will probably give you an insight into why the previous owner actually made this modification. So as you can see here, the tire size here is 235/50 R18. So right off the bat, I can tell that this is a different sizing compared to the original tire. But just to prove it to you, if we can get a good shot of the tire, the original. Yeah, so if we can get a good shot of the original tire, you will realize the original tire here says 225/60 and it's R17, 17 each rims. Okay, so remember that number, 225/60 R17. Now let's go back to the previous listing. The one with the modified rims is this one. Yeah, so 225 versus 235. 225 being the original, 235 being this particular one with the modified rim. So right off the bat, what does that tell you? It tells you that the owner modified the rims because he wanted more width. So 235 here refers to the width of the tire, which means on one corner there's 10 millimeters wider compared to the original tire setup offered by Subaru. So on all four corners, that means you have an extra 40 millimeters in terms of tire contact that is grabbing the road every time the car is being driven. 50 here is referring to the width, the height of the tire. So 50 here is actually 50% of 235. So that's the actual indication, but it means it's a bit the width here is a bit less compared to the original tire, considering the original tire is 60% of 225. And yeah, last but not least, the 17 versus the 18 is just the inch of the rim. So 17-inch rims versus 18-inch rims. So back to the initial question, right? So this is probably a legitimate reason why the previous owner modified the rim. It is simply because he wanted to add a wider tire and, of course, a larger diameter rim. A larger diameter rim will actually fill the wheel arches a bit better, and it changes the stance of the car. The car may ride a bit taller as well. So there is a legitimate reason why the previous owner of this particular Subaru XV changed the rims, right? Whether for better or for worse in terms of the design, you can judge it yourself, right? Design and whether something looks good or not, this is extremely subjective. Whether it fulfills your design spectrum, your beauty standards or not, that is a separate question that we are not going to touch. But there is definitely a legitimate reason why this particular owner chose to modify the rims. It is to upgrade to a set of better tires. Michelin, I believe this is a Michelin Primacy tire, and that should offer better grip on top of the fact that it's wider and it's also slightly larger diameter as well. So don't go and jump into conclusions saying that, oh, this guy modified his rims so he must drive the car a certain way, and therefore I should also religiously avoid these kind of cars when I'm considering purchasing used car. Because yeah, I mean, there may be legitimate reasonings and justification as to why they perform that modification. Although, some would argue that 225 with tires are already sufficiently grippy enough for a car of this stature within this segment, the B plus C segment that the Subaru XV actually resides in. So that is also open to contention. But yeah, definitely there is a legitimate reason why this rim is modified here. Another thing that I would like to share with you is how some of the dealers actually package certain cars without a particular spec to be, some other more expensive variant of the car. For instance, if we take a look at this listing here, so it says here this is a Subaru XV GT edition, and when we click into it, you see from the external looks, this may seem like it is a GT edition proper, with the nice looking rims, and the body kit as well, the front lip, the side lip, and also the rear lip. But if you click into the interior look, you will be able to notice that this still has the fabric seats. So obviously what this means is the dealer has actually installed the GT Edition body kit and also changed the rims to that of the GT Edition's rim. But so they are trying to package this as a GT Edition car, and they are selling it for significantly cheaper compared to the other GT Edition, the proper GT Edition models, right? So you see this one is under 80 grand. And if we look at the proper GT Edition one, they typically start from 85, 86 to about 89 and 90 grand. So just be a bit wary and be a bit careful when it comes to these sort of tactics. They may tell you that it's a GT edition, but yeah, it may only refer to the external body kit and the rim on the exterior, but on the interior there's still leather, just fabric seats, and there's not a screenshot here, but yeah, another defining item would be the lack of a 360-degree cameras. Just something for you to keep in mind when you are looking at the listings. So then, what other useful features on the Mudah platform? You will be able to notice the loan calculator here. This is something that is offered on the Mudah platform, so you will be able to look at the car price and then look at the down payment and manipulate the interest, and then you will be given a rough calculation of the monthly loan, the monthly amount that you have to pay to service the loan if you choose to purchase the vehicle by getting a bank loan. So the typical interest rate is around 3 to 3.5. You can manipulate this field as you like. You can also manipulate, I believe, the down payment, but yeah, now this used to be something that you can manipulate the down payment with. You can change it to 1,000, but I think Mudah, they have updated their interface, so it does not allow you to change the down payment or the car price. Yeah, more so the car price. You cannot manipulate the car price, right? You can only change and play with the interest rate. Now the interest rate, like I said, typically is 3.5%. This one depends on your personal credit score. So if you have a good reputation with the bank, you may be able to get a cheaper interest rate. If you have a bad credit score, then you may get a more expensive interest rate. And you can also manipulate the loan period. Maximum is up to 9 years, minimum, of course, 1 year. There are certain things to keep in mind when you want to look at the loan calculator. Number one is not all cars can actually take the loan up to 9 years. Typically, banks will look at it in such a way that the car cannot be more than 15-year-old by the time you finish the loan. So for instance, this is a 3-year-old car. So even after a 9-year loan, the car will be looking at around about 12 years old. So banks will still allow you to loan for the full 9 years duration. So if you work backwards, that would mean that the last car manufacturing year that you can get a full 9-year loan as of this year 2025, the last year is 2019. So any vehicles that are manufactured in the year 2019, you still will be able to get the full 9-year loan. For example, if you're looking at a car that's manufactured in the year 2018, you will no longer be able to get the 9-year loan. You will at the maximum get 8 years from the bank. So that's how they work. They look at, after you finish paying the loan, the car cannot be older than 15 years. Another thing that you should keep in mind when you are using loan calculators of any form, like you can go online and Google search car loan calculator, and you'll be able to find multiple different calculators that offer you the same sort of calculation. But on Mudah specifically, the thing that you have to keep in mind is this is just the car body price. So for instance, if you look at this is the car price, the body price. It's probably a cash price. So if you are buying the car on loan, the dealer will give you a different price. Typically, what they will add is the we call the processing fee. So the processing fee, I've seen multiple different car dealers applying different processing fee rates. I've seen some used car dealers who do not charge you a processing fee. Well, of course, they say they don't charge you a processing fee, but it's actually already charged into the car price, right? That is commonsensical. But yeah, they claim to have they claim that they don't have a processing fee. But this is something that you have to bear in mind when you are looking at the car price. Typically, used car dealers, they will charge you somewhere between 3.5k to 3.9k as the processing fee. This is the normal routine within the used car dealers. And in fact, if you look for runners externally, runners who are not, part of the used car dealer group, they may offer you the service to help you, run to Pushpacom to do the inspection, and then to process your loan and to process your name change for the vehicle. They will also offer you about 3.5, 3.9k for their service. So this is something that you have to pay for the service. Normally, the used car dealers will recommend that you add this into your car loan, so it will bump the car price up by another 4k. And of course, this is again not on the road price. On the road price, you also have to include things like the insurance of the vehicle and the road tax of the vehicle. So depending on where you are getting the car, again, you can always Google the insurance calculation, and you can input your NCD percentage, and you will be able to get a good costing of how much your car actually cost to purchase, right? So on top of a 4k maybe processing fee, you have to add, like for instance, the Subaru XV. Typically the insurance with 55% NCD is about 1.2k, and then the road tax of the vehicle, you have to top up another 450. So you are looking at about 1.6 extra to make it go on the road, on top of course, the aforementioned 4,000 processing fee. So if you add all of these up, you probably have to add another 5.6k onto this body price. So that would make the car, push towards 85k on the road. On the road being the keyword, meaning that you can drive away by essentially getting a loan for 85k, which is why it makes the loan calculator here a little redundant, because you cannot manipulate the car price. So it's a bit it's a bit weird, it's a bit useless in that sense, because you can't bump up the price to account for the processing fee and also the insurance and road tax fees. What else? Another thing, if you are interested in that, let's say if you are looking specifically to buy the car from direct owners, the Mudah platform also has a specific tab here that shows you supposedly cars from direct owners. So these are, supposedly the owner selling their own car. But I've seen multiple examples where the used car dealer register another account on Mudah and try to sell off a car as their own car, as a direct owner's car. How do you verify this? What you can do is actually pretty simple. You can just click on the direct owner's name, and after having clicked into the direct owner's name, what you will see is all the ads that are listed by the owner. So if he only has listed one car under his belt, then chances are this is probably a legitimate direct owner. I've seen before, the person claiming to become a direct owner, but when you click into it, he has 2 or more cars under his belt, and you can look at the pictures of the car. They are actually the same picture as the pictures that he used for the used car dealer's listing. That's how they manipulate the system, that's how they trick the system. So again, you have to take everything with a grain of salt. Just because the listing says it's direct owner doesn't necessarily mean that this car is sold by the direct owner. So you have to just learn to question everything. Here's where the usefulness of the platform comes about. If you are very serious about buying the used car, you will keep the Mudah page open across multiple days. Then you will be able to see all the pictures that are that are uploaded by the listing, and then you will be able to see some repetitive pictures, and then you sort of you get familiarized with all these pictures, and then when you see a new listing pop up, you realize that actually this is using some of these recurring pictures, and they are trying to pass it off as a new model, but it's actually essentially the same car. For instance, this listing and this listing, they are essentially referring to the same car, more or less. The pictures are the same, and then if you go to the physical location, they will just be able to show you one car, but they have multiple listings. So here is where, as a prudent buyer, you have to do a lot of research. You have to spend some time to do the legwork so that you ensure that you are not cheated. Okay, it's very important for you to go into a deal knowing almost everything about the deal. So you have to know, are there modifications present? You have to know, okay, does the car have a full service record? Does it have the original service manual or service booklet along with the car? And even better, does it have all the invoice on the car? And then you can proceed to the physical used car dealer site and run your own inspection. You can look at the car, you can test drive the car, you can look at any sort of supporting document that the used car dealer has to offer, like invoices of the works that have been done previously, those sort of things, to essentially maximize your chance of finding a car that will not give you a lot of headache. Alternatively, if you don't want to do all those legwork but you would still like to buy a used car from a used car dealer, you can also find different people offering their services to inspect a vehicle. So somebody who came on top of my mind right now is Sifu David. If you can go on to Facebook, you can look at his Facebook. He offers such a service where, for a fee, he can go to the used car dealer that you want to inspect the vehicle that you want. Of course, the fee varies according to different car. It depends on how big the car is. It depends on the technologies present on the car. But he will be able to look at the condition of the car. And not only that, he's also offering some additional services in the form of, okay, he will look at the condition of the car and then he will tell you within the next 2 years what are the potential things that you may have to fork out money to replace. So what are the parts or the components that you may have to replace within the next 2 to 5 years? He will be able to give you a rough quotation, because he runs a workshop, right? He runs a workshop, I think, around the KL area. So not only do you understand the condition of the car, but you also get some insights into, once you have purchased the car, what sort of monetary commitment that you have to put down within the next, short to medium term, in order for you to maintain the car properly. Because used car, the used car buying journey, it doesn't end after you made a purchase, right? You will still have to go on to maintain the car, to make the car reliable for your day-to-day use or whatever your use case is. So that is where I believe his service comes into mind particularly well, because he is also able to sort of visualize within the next 3 to 5 years what parts that the previous owner has not changed and you may need to change if you choose to purchase the vehicle. So go check him out. Again, I am not sponsored by him. I am not advertising his business, but I thought this is a good service for you, standing from a perspective of somebody who is looking to purchase a used car. In any case, that has been Sky from HWF. I sort of have set the future of this channel to be somewhat focused on the used car market, to offer some insights. I will tentatively begin from my own use case. Subaru XV is, as it stands, a car that I'm looking forward to purchasing sometime next year. So I will be generating a few more videos relating to that. I will also talk about the other competitor to the Subaru XV that is currently on my radar. That is the Mazda CX-5 as well. There are some nuggets of information that if you are somebody who's interested in exploring these vehicles, they should be useful to you. So until we meet again in the next video, goodbye for now.